Hi, Al. Send me a request.
Thank you, V's.
Hi, Marion. How you doing?
How
I
are
think we're.
you? How are you? Happy Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sun-
How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. It's going good. Can't complain. Just hanging in there.
Okay, good. I'm sorry I'm a little behind. I had to deal with some
No, no,
production stuff.
it's okay. It's okay. I've been tired all day due to like a long week at work.
Oh, okay, okay. Where do you work?
Oh, I will talk about that when we get off.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to find
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
So sorry, I look a
So how
little
you
tired. We didn't get
doing
in.
on this Sunday?
I'm doing good. The tour with Janet is really good. Yeah,
Hmm.
some really
But
long.
how is that going with the tour with Janet?
Say that one more time.
How is that going the tour with Janet?
It's going really good. It's pretty laid back, easy, but it's just long hours, extremely long hours. Uh,
Oh, okay. Let me first introduce you, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are coming in, please welcome production manager and sound engineer Al T. Williams.
yes.
Thank you for those of you who are coming in.
Yes, definitely. So, um, right now we're doing a bunch of transfer stuff. We're working. It's constant work on my end. Even on days off, I'm still working. Uh, yes. So, how's everything going on your end? So,
Oh, it's
first of all,
going on good.
thank you for inviting me to the
No
your
problem.
podcast. I really appreciate the opportunity to
No
be able to get
problem.
on here. And so I just stopped working for a second, and I have a few minutes. I wanted to, just sit there and share with your people. And I know
Uh-huh.
some people have some questions, like what do we do? What does it take to be in the industry this long?
Uh-huh.
So definitely, I'm definitely open. So whatever answers, questions you have, shoot them at me. I'm ready.
Oh, okay, okay. And speaking of Janet Jackson, how long have you been working with her? And tell us about that experience.
Okay, well, as far as Janet Jackson, I work on the Ludacris side. I'm Ludacris production manager. I production manage for Ludacris, Teddy Riley, Keith Sweat, a bunch of old school artists I production manage for, or either I'm a sound engineer for. So I've been in the industry for about maybe 33 years now, three
Wow,
decades.
that's a
Yeah,
long
so
time.
that's
Over
a long
three
time.
decades.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely 3 decades. So I still seem to be in demand. I'm grateful for that because opportunities can stop at any time. You can only be grateful that people still appreciate your
Uh-huh.
value you bring to the table. So definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of Ludacris that you're fully involved with, besides like, him rapping, we know that, he's been entertaining the fans for years, like, due to his animated features. Tell us about that.
That's why they call him Ludacris because he's very
Mhm.
animated with his characters. So what do you want to know about him? Like what? In what
Like,
aspect? He's a
how did you start working with Luda?
um. It was
And what were your ups and your downs?
we have never had any downs. He's such a
Oh,
really
okay.
positive guy. He's all about inspiring his people to progress and grow and evolve. So his thing, as long as you're evolving, it's a good fit. I think this was a heavily fit. For me, it was more spiritual connection than it was physical. I was already a professional in the business. He was too. Even the way we got together, I was not even supposed to be on the show. There was a guy called me named who was a friend of mine and said he needed someone to fill in to sit in for this show. And I was like, well, I'm home. I'm not doing anything. I guess I'll go ahead and do this show. and I showed up for the show, and I didn't even know who I was working for. And next thing in the dressing room, I'm sitting there eating some peanut butter and jelly, and I figured whoever artist this is, they're not gonna
Yeah,
eat this peanut butter and jelly.
uh,
And it was
yeah,
Ludacris who walked through the door, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm working with Ludacris. Okay, cool. ATL Finest. So
yeah.
that's how we met, and then we all got a bond, and everybody kind of worked together like brotherhood, and I just been
Mm-hmm.
there ever since. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm official Luda
Uh,
all day.
yeah, and you worked with other artists like people from the New Jack Swing era. The founder of the New
Yes,
Jack Swing, Teddy Riley, and Keith Sweat, who's been in the business since like 86, 87. Tell us about that.
it's good. The I think the position that I'm in is a great position because Luda has allowed me to go and still work with other artists and still continue
Hmm.
my relationship with him and not be threatened that I'm gonna lose my relationship or my work position. So
Yeah.
I've been working with Keith Sweat from since the 2000s or whatever, and
From
Teddy Riley
2000.
the same things. Yeah, it's like in the early 2000s, late 2000s for Teddy, but
Yeah.
early 2000s with Keith,
Hmm.
doing some stuff. So basically, I've always been around the theme. I work with every artist from Cool in the Gang, the SOS Band, Midnight Stars, Chicago, Flair. If you're into rock and roll,
Yeah.
I work with
Yes, I am a rock and roll funk doo wop. Uh,
every R&B funk artist in the market that came out in
yeah.
the 80s. I've definitely worked with them.
And before the 80s, in the 70s, because we know that Midnight Star, the SOS band, came
That's
out
right.
before the 80s.
That's right. I work with them too, and even Cool in the
Yeah.
Gang. I was Cool in the Gang's main guy for quite some time, and they taught me a lot about the business. More. They took me in like a son, so they taught me the protocol, and I think that's why I had the longevity because I had some older guys kind of instilled in me the protocols of how you handle yourself when you're on the road and when you're dealing with artists. Because then, as close as I am, there's a personal side and then there's a business side. So you got to be able to separate the two, be able to balance it
Uh-huh.
out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this is the main statement that they say in the music business: don't mix business with pleasure.
It's a balance to it. It's just like
Yeah.
anything in life. One of my dearest friends is a guy named Jay Sean. I met Jay Sean. We met. I think our relationship was built on joking with each other, and so we started from there. I had a skill set. He had a product, and we just kind of build from there. But I met some really great people with Jay coming through YMCMB, dealing with them. Huggy, my man Huggy.
Mhm.
He was actually production managing. Who was he doing? Uh, uh, Chris Brown. He was doing Chris Brown at the time, but now he's doing Mary J. Blige.
I don't listen to Chris Brown.
You don't? Why?
Yeah. He's just I mean, like, certain artists aren't for everybody to listen to. Like, the way I see to Chris Brown, who he
Mhm.
is, like his image, I was like, yuck.
Yeah.
I don't
So
listen to that type of artist.
yeah. I guess the thing is for me, the people I work with, I build personal relationships with.
Mm-hmm.
I gotten to the point that if I can't build a relationship with you, I'd rather not, because I'm gonna fight for them all the time, in their defense.
Uh-huh.
So I'd rather have somebody that I can build a relationship with. It's
Mm-hmm.
better that way.
Mm-hmm. Are you the type of that is pretty laid back? Like, if you had enough of somebody, you would just say enough is enough. You know, let's go our separate ways. You
Uh,
seem
I
very soft-spoken now.
I am, but I mean, most of the people I've ever ran into or worked with have been about their business. I just been really blessed to be in the right place at the right time, around the right people. So I haven't really had a lot of situations where I was abused or misused or whatever. It was either, we changed directions or my growth level just kind of took me to a different place, but everybody always supported it. Even to the point when I was with Cool in the Game, Cool was the one that set me to the side and he was like, hey man, you're bigger than where we are. What we
Mm-hmm.
need to do is I need for you to go on and spread your wings and let other
Uh-huh.
people see your gift. And so what he
Mm-hmm.
did, they continued to pay me after I was
Mhm.
not even with the organization. They were like, we're gonna still pay you so you can get your feet
Yeah.
wet and going. So they support.
Mhm.
I've always had some good support, good people around me all the time. Um,
Mhm.
but that's the name of the game.
Speaking of Cool and the Gangs, how long have you been working with them? And like it's like tell us some about like how it started.
How it started.
Yeah,
Honestly, I was actually working with a group called the SOS Band based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
yeah. That's
And
so it.
yeah,
And
and so
no one's gonna love you.
that's right. So I was working with them. I was super young at the time, but um, there was some guys standing behind me, and they was listening to what I was doing. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you got to sound amazing!" And I was like, "Well,
Uh
thanks a
huh.
lot." So I didn't take them serious, I was like, who is this? And so they after the show, they said, "Hey, are you open to start working with Cool in the Gang?" I was like, "Cool in the Gang? Oh, sure, whatever." I didn't take it serious, and so they called me for weeks, 2 weeks straight. Saying, "Hey, man, we
Yeah,
need you to
because
come out here."
like when you started off in the
Hmm.
music business, and when you're younger, you don't take anything seriously. But like
No,
the artists that that you're working with, it's like they make you get serious because you're representing them.
hmm, yes, yes. And then so I just after that point, I looked at their calendar and I just said, okay, either I'm gonna stay here on this level or I'm gonna give it a
But,
shot and go somewhere else and try a
yeah.
different demographic. And that's what I did. A lot
Hmm.
of times when I do interviews, people always want to know what is the dirt behind the industry, or what's the real reality of being in the
Uh,
industries, and what's the
yeah.
sacrifices.
Yeah. We have those people in the industry who don't want to see you win, who want to see you like go down, who don't want to see you be successful. They want to see how far you are,
Yeah, I mean
how
that's
how much you've accomplished.
oh yeah, that's always you gonna always see people meet people like that. It's just
Mhm.
and no matter if you're in the music industry or corporate America, it's just what it is. It's part of success. So it's just part of the growing pain. You just gotta know how to roll with it.
Mhm.
Um, But like I think like a lot of times people want to know, they see one side of it. You're traveling, you're on the stage, you're there with the artist, you're taking these photos. But the sacrifices we go through in the business behind the scene is lack of sleep. We're
Yeah.
sleep deprived.
Uh-huh.
So um, a lot of times you
As an
don't get.
artist, you need plenty of sleep. That way you will have like, energy, enough energy to like, hit the studio to record a new single, hit the stage during a big event.
That's correct. So what we do is we take that pressure off of the artist so we can maintain everything and make sure his stuff is correct. So when he comes out, it's just a lot easier for him. So it's a lot of times they never really get the real reality of the what's going on behind the scenes before they even get
Mhm.
out there. So we kind of mask all that. But it's a lot of work to go into it.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, what are the name of the songs that you produced for like, each artist?
Well, I'm not a producer. I am a producer, but I never had any songs that I've written for
Oh,
any artist. I just work with them in their production side of it by making sure
mhm,
that they have, as a production manager, I make sure they have all of the things that they need to perform their craft when they're on stage. So I just handle anything that's
mhm,
production wise.
mhm. Okay, okay. And there's another artist who's underrated who's been in the business for a while, Rochelle Farrell. Um, how did you started working with her, and tell us something about that experience?
An artist that's underrated. I
Yeah,
was
Rochelle Farrell.
oh yeah, yeah. So that was a long story. So a friend of mine's named Little John, drummer, who played with George Duke and Janet. So John
Hmm.
asked me to come work with her. But the crazy thing at the time, the money they offered me wasn't enough for what I was getting on a regular basis. So I went to her and said, "Hey, I need you to do me a huge favor." She's like, "What?" I said, "I need you to give me shout outs as I'm mixing your show. So at least I can go get more work." And she's like, "Really?" She said, "What you want me to say?" I said, "Just say, hey, thank you, LT. I love you." And she started laughing backstage. She said, "Okay, cool, I'll do it." So the whole entire concert every 3 minutes she say, "Thank you, LT. You got it sounding amazing. I love you." She did that, and it was just a running joke. So I think working with Rochelle was really, really cool because she is so down to earth and
And
she's
yeah,
funny.
um, and she could hold a note too.
Yeah, she
She
can
could
hold a note.
hold a
She has a
note.
great personality. She's super funny.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, it was just amazing, to be with her and get a chance to work with her a couple of times.
Yeah, and speaking of her, it's like, I'm looking forward to her putting out a new album because, she has an amazing voice, a lot of great singles.
She does. She definitely
Hmm.
does. She definitely does. So she has a
Hmm.
absolutely amazing voice.
Hmm.
I think she is underrated compared to like a lot of the artists that are out there now. The stuff that they're doing now, is stuff she was doing then, and that's the crazy part about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I also work with another great artist, Anita Baker.
Oh,
Yes,
Anita Baker. And, speaking of Anita, she is one legend herself. And, like, she made an announcement saying that she's retired, but she's currently on tour this year. And, God bless her. She still look good at over 60 years old doing her thing.
hmm Now, I can tell you one thing. Somebody was asking me this the other day. They said, out of what female artist you work with that you had a big crush on? I would say it was Kelly
Oh,
Rowland.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And, we all know Kelly Rowland for being, the 90s girl group Destiny's Child, Latavia, her, Michelle, Beyonce.
Yeah,
How is your relationship with Kelly, Al?
it was good. I mean, I think with Kelly Rowland, it was good. It was a good relationship. It was short, you know. I kept my loyalty with Ludacris, DCP, all the way. But it was just, it was a short relationship, but it was a lot. Yeah, I left a good impression
Hmm.
on to her,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
it was great.
Yeah.
So
Hmm. And and we all know that Teddy Riley is a very soft spoken, but that man, like, produced a lot of songs for people, wrote a lot of songs for people.
you did.
Um,
Teddy, Teddy's
what
written
did
a
you
lot of songs.
think? Yeah, what did you think about the verses with him and Babyface like over 2 years ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was a great opportunity. I learned a
Uh,
lot from the verses. If you look at the verses, I was actually one of the memes in the verses.
oh
So
wow.
they kept. So the thing was, I was there.
Teddy did not play when it came to him, like, playing like, the piano.
Yeah. So the thing was, the whole versus situation was just supposed to be him and Babyface, and I was there to mix the after party. We was going to do a live concert on the after party. It
Yeah.
didn't quite turn out that way. So I don't know what was technically going on with that versus
Uh-huh.
situation between internet connections, which they've had a reputation of having that kind of issue. But Teddy really respects me, and I was glad to see that he listened to me when I said stop. Let's do a let's
Yeah.
reschedule it.
I mean,
And that was, yeah,
because
so
if you see Teddy, it looks like, he's very, like, easy to work with. He's fair because, he's pretty laid back and he's soft spoken.
yeah, definitely, definitely, he definitely is a super laid back guy, real
Hmm.
nice guy. I think the thing with Teddy, when I started with Teddy, I believed in rebirthing Teddy Riley for all the for my appreciation of the music that he gave us in the '90s. And not only that, we built a really close bondship with it. I have pretty close bond with all the artists I work with, so personal bond. So, but it was really good working with Teddy, and I still work with Teddy now. So it's not over. I was
Okay.
actually on the New Edition tour with Teddy
Oh, yeah.
Riley and
Speaking
Guy.
of a new edition, how do you see the Legacy tour?
The Legacy tour to me was like a family reunion. It was all the
Okay.
people that we worked with prior to, and it was an amazing situation to see that New Edition is
Yeah.
still around 40
Yeah,
years
New
later.
Edition. They've been out since the late 70s, but they've been producing music since the
Yeah,
late 80s.
yeah,
Those cats have been moving strong for the past 45 years.
yeah,
And them six fellas, they look good. And
yeah.
God bless them.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's a lot. It's hard to keep a career
Mhm.
going that long and still be successful and filling arenas. And I think with the combination they had with New Edition, Key Sweat, Guy, and Tank was a magical combination. And I
Mhm.
think it was a great show. I really enjoyed the time I was out there before I had to jump over here to the Ludacris and Janet Jackson tour. But it was amazing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, Al, I have one question. What is the difference of you working with Teddy Riley years ago and you working with Teddy Riley now?
Uh, I only remember Teddy for what I know Teddy is now for me. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know what Teddy was like in his heyday. I wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
based on the stories and things he told me, he's grown quite a bit significantly. He's definitely
Mhm.
learned, like most of us, he's evolved to doing bigger and better things and trying to look out for more people.
Uh-huh.
And he's
Yeah.
put people first. So I don't know what
Mhm.
all the details were in the past, but as far as
Uh-huh.
him doing his thing now, it's Teddy Riley.
Mhm.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And speaking of Teddy, do you know if him and Guy are working on a new album?
They are working on some new material.
Okay.
It's
And
it's
the
it's
fans are looking forward to that because Guy, they are one of the epitomes of New Jack Swing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Them and Key
Hmm.
Sweat. I think it was a collaboration thing. I think originated Teddy originated the New Jack Swing. Key Sweat
Yeah.
was another originator of New Jack Swing also.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of hard because they both crossed paths and they both helped out quite a few different people with their careers and giving them opportunities to carry on and still be able to bring revenue into their homes. So, and then
Hmm.
still start a career. So I think the thing is, I had to celebrate both of those guys. I can't one over the other.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And have you ever thought about working with New Edition?
Oh yeah, I've worked with New Edition quite a
Okay.
bit. Oh yeah, we're
Okay.
all old friends. Yeah, I definitely work with New
For
Edition. I
how
tour.
long have you worked with New Edition?
There's no timeline. It's just we've been working together. There's no expiration date. Let's put it like that.
Hmm.
So we've been
Yeah.
working together for about 10, 11 years. Like physically
Oh,
working
that's,
11, 12.
that,
No, longer than that.
that's a pretty much a long time.
Yeah, it's longer than that. When I think
Yeah.
about it, yeah, but we've definitely been friends and working together for quite some time.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah,
And before you was a production manager and sound engineer. What was your occupation?
I was I was a low voltage. No, I always been a musician. So I started another company, which is a low voltage company. But I've always been a musician producer. So I never could get any of my songs to take off, and I didn't know
Hmm.
my gift was gonna be into. I didn't know my gift was gonna be into production. I thought it was going to be more a studio guy having a bunch of hit records and being on stage with a ponytail, making my hair shake, and the women hollering over me, you know what I'm saying, and throwing my hips left and right. But it didn't quite work out like that for me.
It's part of your image and your personality, like in the music business, because every production manager, sound engineer, or like even if you're artist or musician, they have their own looks, which represents them as a person.
Yes, yeah. But I
Hmm.
think I think appearance. If you're saying about the appearance of our occupation, I just I've always been a technology guy. I love technology things, and so I've always focused on that. Um, And so I just kind of now at this point, I'm trying to, educate younger adults or younger people who want to get into the business.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh-huh. Because they need to be educated because a whole lot of these young adults who got in the business, it's like they don't know the business. They just feel like, I'm in the business, I'm gonna make it big. There are a lot of things that they need to learn.
yeah, it is. It's about information. And sometimes when you sit around people who've been there a long time, you get information. That information is so important. That's what is 90% of the problem that most people have why they don't succeed or maintain because their attitude is their altitude and just the information they get and how to apply it, and when to apply it. So those three
Uh-huh.
things will play a major role in sustaining yourself in any career. you know. So
Yeah. And speaking of these young adults, who want to get in the music business, do you plan on, like, having a session that way you could teach them the pros and the cons in the music business?
I am right now. I'm trying to help younger artists to help them design to have a teach them the backbone of the business. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, how to have a stage plot or a rider. A lot of people, when they get into the business, they have a song. They don't even know what a rider is and how
Hmm.
efficient a rider can really make your whole career a lot more smoother. So I help them design riders and be able
Yeah.
to send to promoters because I also promote a bunch
Uh-huh.
of other events. I
Draw a
work in a,
diagram for them. That way that it will be well demonstrated and that they could, like, be able to comprehend. Because a lot of them they can't comprehend.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's mainly for the production side because what happens a lot of times when you show up at a venue and you don't have a rider, they don't know what to provide you. They don't know what your expectations are because everything is about managing expectations. So once you
Hmm.
can manage people's expectations, then you can have an easier relationship. You just make the entire relationship a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And there's one gospel a group that you was in, or, like, you worked with. Is that how did that start? And tell us about that experience.
The gospel group, I was in a
Hmm.
gospel group called The Word. We started
Yeah.
as a
How many
uh,
members were in that group?
four.
Oh, what were the names of the members?
Penny, Wingate, Wesley, Vincent Botts, and myself.
And
So,
what year did you guys come out?
oh my gosh, like in the '80s, early '80s, we did the
Oh, in
gospel
the
thing.
early 80s. So,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, you look
yeah.
so young.
Thanks a lot.
Uh-huh.
That's when they getting a little bit of sleep and staying up all night. That helps. No, I'm just joking. So yeah, we so in the early '80s, late '80s, well mid '80s, I would say, '86, '87, we all got saved, got into the church, but we still liked our R&B music. We liked the music, so
Uh-huh.
what we did, we just changed the words to the music and started going around doing hip hop gospel. And people at first it wasn't accepted. People would say we devil worshipers playing demonic chords and all this craziness, but God made music, and I right now, even now, my what I do is a part of that still that ministry, because my ministry has always been about bringing the positive love of
Uh-huh.
hope and love
Being
back into the
spiritually
industry.
connected to the Lord, because before most of these artists is like, they became big in the music business, and they won Grammys and, like, all these other types of musical awards. It's like they sang at their church, and you got to put a God first in everything.
That's
You
right.
you
That's
really
right.
you got to put God first in everything, because God brought you to this world, and but you gotta, like, praise God, sing to the Lord.
That's right. And we do. And even now, even in my production team, we pray before we go out. Even if you don't
Mhm.
believe in Jesus or God, whatever, we just come together as
So you
one
have
unit
to.
and pray.
That's
Yeah,
important. Don't play with Jesus.
that's right.
Don't play with Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
Well, definitely, and it's like in closing, I would say the things that I want to teach people and help people to understand is the longevity of being in the business and any career that you believe in, want to do, put your mind to, just stick with it. It's just a matter of time for anyone. Just stick with it. Keep meeting people in the levels that you want to get to, and that's where you eventually get there. A
Hmm.
door opportunity will open, and someone will give you a chance. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Well, I know that I'm gonna have to cut short because I do have to get finished with. I got a production load I'm doing outside,
Oh yeah.
and
And
yeah, we
speaking
got
of you becoming a
yeah,
production manager, you work with Ellen DeGeneres and Jay Leno. Tell us
yeah.
about your relationship between with those two people, and how did it started?
Well, when each artist I work with was featured on those shows, Jay Leno, Ellen, Ellen DeGenerate. I've done quite a few television shows, so over the years, I would actually be there to work on their production side. They trust me enough to make sure
Mhm.
that that part was going to go out right, and I've done quite a
Mhm.
bit.
Mhm.
So that was pretty easy because it's pretty standard. They already have a
Mhm.
infrastructure together, and they already have the
Mhm.
program, so they're gonna run it just the way they need to run it. So it's just that's pretty much it. It's just you walk into a fixed situation, so it's easy.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Uh, okay. What is it that you would like her to tell the people on here, Al?
Um, Stay focused,
Uh-huh.
stay
Any
determined.
new
Keep
projects coming up?
any more projects coming up.
Any new projects that you want
Yeah,
to keep
I
the
got
fans updated?
Afro Puff Festival that's gonna be in New York. Working on that.
Afropuff.
Yes, working on
Tell us
that.
about Afropuff.
It's it's a it's a festival. I can't really give a lot of information out on it yet
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
because it's not fixed or finished with the
All right.
details. But it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be a great festival in New York. I got a
Mm-hmm.
couple other
And
festivals I'm doing.
I'm in New York. I live here, so I'll be
Okay,
looking forward to seeing you.
okay, absolutely. Well, we're gonna be in New York for a whole week. So with the
Oh,
Janet
okay.
tour, yeah. So we'll be
Oh,
there a
okay.
whole week.
Oh, okay.
Definitely,
And you definitely keep me updated and all the other fans updated.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Follow the tour. You know where we
Oh,
are.
okay. Oh, okay. It was just more than a pleasure having you as a special guest on my podcast. Stay blessed. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. God is with you and continue doing what you're doing.
Okay, thank you so much. I enjoyed it, and thank you for having me on your show. I really
No
appreciate you
problem.
and
Looking
your
forward to
fans.
seeing you. God
Okay,
bless.
God bless. See you later.
All right, later, Al.
Bye.
Bye.